Show me. I want to see you got your pecker back.
Now, how the fuck am I supposed to explain that to anyone? The anime that sounds like that one song from 12 years ago? Yeah, you know the one I'm talking about.
Don't drop that dun-dun-dun. Hey, don't drop that dun-dun-dun.
Has taken the anime world by storm. It was made by the same studio that made Devilman Crybaby and written by Yukinobu Tatsu, who worked as an assistant for Chainsaw Man, Fire Punch, and Hell's Paradise. So yeah, shit's gonna get wicked. Not that it's the most original, in fact it's just like Mob Psycho. It's about the supernatural, the main character is working on self-acceptance, and there's even a side character, Spirit.
Well, yeah, but Mob doesn't have a hot ass brain.
Oh, that's true, but he does have a penis. It's got a banger of an opening and its animation has been amazing. Not that the competition has been all that great this year. But there's a reason that this anime is thriving even without the most originality. It's no coincidence that mainstream shonen is just getting increasingly unserious. While the big three did have weirdness and a sense of humor, it wasn't as consistently out there as it seems to currently be. If you told me a couple of years ago that newer thriving shonen would be based on touching boobs and getting back his meat,
I beg your pardon? I beg your pardon?
But in all seriousness, you would sound a little ridiculous. I mean, it's funny, but I couldn't see that being mainstream. People used to get bullied for watching normal anime, and now you're telling me this is gonna be mainstream? What else? We gonna get aliens too?
What did you learn?
Oh shit, I didn't mean that. The only anime I could compare to that level of unseriousness is Gintama, and that is literally what it's known for, being so out there but still making it work. And now that's what shonen are starting to become. Shit, was Gintama ahead of its time? Yeah, on second thought, I'm gonna take that back. Fast forward to today and I understand it now. Not just because I finally share a common goal, but because humor is the perfect complement to drama in anime. And honestly, I think the anime world is finally realizing something that took me about 20 years to realize. Which is not everything has to be that serious. I prided myself on being a man's man since I was as little as I could remember. It's ironic, I know. And it's also what made me so unsure about starting an anime review channel. I tried just about anything else. Like, I'm dead ass, I tried everything.
If you guys have something you're just passionate about, start it. And I'm gonna do the same.
But I received the best feedback when I started getting into anime, and I also just enjoyed it. Any community will have hate, but the support and genuine talks that I've had allowed me to see why this niche would hopefully work for me. Now, enough of my origin story, but to get to the point, I never wanted to be known for being funny or unserious, even as a kid. And the reason was, I idolized these fictional characters who were just cool and mysterious. I thought I was Batman before the entire population of the world did, but maturing taught me the opposite. The people who do act like that in the everyday world are people who are hiding their actual selves with the mask of mysteriousness and privacy. While I still hold the importance of the latter, and I am an independent and private person in real life, being mysterious and nonchalant is kinda corny. Cause on a base level of being human, we're all a lot more similar than we realize, and that's a good thing. It's what connects us and also a motivation to work harder to stand out. But again, on a base level, it's what allows us to relate to each other. Now in Dandadan, the balance between horror and humor makes these characters relatable, because they're taking nothing serious until it's in their face, and in most situations, they're shitting bricks, just like we would. And I think it's even more reflective of not just myself, but the newer generations who, if you couldn't tell from the memes, could not give less of a fuck, because that's just the way we deal with things now. While past shonen and people in the past generations did have unseriousness, the basis of most of those main characters were an idealistic version of what we want to be. And I do think that's important, especially for impressionable youth, to follow these superhero-like figures. But it's also nice to have those that represent us in the slightly older demographic, who in those situations would be shitting bricks too. And besides all these personal connections, there's something really powerful about balancing humor and drama when it comes down to those most serious scenes. While I emphasize the unseriousness, the truth is, if the entire show was like that, there would be no substance at all. There's an importance to being serious, especially in a TV show. The most intense moments could be ruined by a running gag, and the reason a lot of these shows thrived, like Gintama, is because they know when to leave the humor behind. And that's exactly what we saw in episode 7 7 of Dandadan. A very reasonable fear for this type of genre is if it can get serious enough, and Dandadan answered that question. I can't lie, as I was watching the show, even though I laughed and it was very visually appealing and I was in love with the granny, I was waiting for the real heart of the show to appear, and it did. They touched upon the fact that the spirits don't choose to be evil, and in fact neither the living or the dead should trample upon the other, which Okarun and Momo did exactly that by going into their territory on purpose, and because of that we had some insight on the fights between the living and the dead. But this story with Aira was completely different. You could tell something was off as soon as the demonic spirit offered her life for Aira's after nearly taking it away. But as Momo saw her soul, so did we. A kid is a representation of the purest soul you can possibly get, and it's the root of a good parent's happiness. A good parent is willing to put money on the table no matter what it may cost them. A good parent enjoys every second they spend with their kid as it's a moment away from the harsh realities they may live. No. But a good parent doesn't always make the right decisions. The direction of these scenes filled me with the pure anguish that this mother felt, losing everything that she had left because of everything that she had already gave up. As the music intensified, we witnessed this beautiful recital that she wanted for her daughter, the one that she'll never get to see. Aira's little gesture reminded her of everything that she had lost, if even for a moment. It felt like she had got that back, and she held on to that for the rest of her life. And the two of them weren't all that different. As this random comment said, "What the Dandadan? I thought you were just a weird show people liked because it was weird." Man, that hit hard. It hit hard indeed, wise commenter. I was honestly getting emotional writing this script. While Dandadan is not the first anime to blend horror, comedy, and drama, it certainly got its own heart, and that's what separates modern projects. Whether it's anime or video games like Ghost of Tsushima, they're clearly inspired, but taking inspiration is something that's done openly at this point, because there's so many great works in the history of whether it's film or video game. And when a team, like in this case Giant Saru, puts their all into the direction, music, and script, it's very clear to the audience. And for the mangaka Yukinobu Tatsu, I think he understands it best that he doesn't have the most original work, but he puts his own spin on it, and he's not afraid to be weird, but he also pauses on that weirdness when the dramatic moments hit. This team knows what they're doing, and shout out again to Giant Saru for taking on these weird projects with a lot of heart. Devilman Crybaby was a forming anime of my youth, as weird as it was. It just hit me hard, and Dandadan seems to be doing the same. There is clearly a lot of passion for this project, and we could see that as fans through and through. I'm gonna hope that these animators are treated right and given time to animate, because apparently that's just not common nowadays, which makes no sense to me. It's 2024. Anime is basically everywhere in the world, and I know execs just care about profit, but you'd make more profit if you treat them well because they make the show. So please, I haven't seen anything like that about Dandadan, and hopefully I don't, because they are killing it. At face value, the show may seem like another goofy, supernatural anime, but it is so much more than that. It may have missing balls and hot grannies, but more than anything, it's a story about self-acceptance, moving on, and what makes each of us continue our fight. Just because the characters are not serious does not mean that the lessons won't be, and I guarantee you Dandadan will continue to show us so in the most beautiful of ways. You know, this is the point where I usually lie to you guys about making an upload schedule, but this time I'm gonna be honest. I do not have an upload schedule, and I don't know exactly when the next video will be, but it will be soon. Now, clearly it's been a while since my last video, and that was not on purpose. I wanted to make a video, but I was just honestly burnt out from how poorly the videos have been doing. Now, that's nobody's fault, and I'm not here to sit and try to get pity because it's YouTube, algorithms work the way they do, nobody knows why, and people have bigger problems in the world, so that's the last of it. But I will say I also realized I was getting less creative, and I was just making videos off of one episode, which I promised I wouldn't do, and I still did it with Uzumaki because I had so much potential. It had so much potential. I thought it would be a good anime and it just wasn't. So I'm gonna really try to stop doing that. I really waited on Dandadan. I was ready to make it when it first came out. I was like, you know what? Let me wait. It seems like a goofy show. Nothing really top tier yet. And then episode 7 dropped and I finally started to work on the video. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you have any recommendations, anything you want me to cover, I will tell you I've been watching a hell of a lot of shows to try to make videos on. Probably will have one on Arcane within the next week or so because it's so good. I also just finished The Penguin. Everyone's praising that, so I don't know if I really need to make a video, but I did watch it and it's amazing. And anime wise, ReZero, Bleach, Dandadan as in this video, and even Blue Box. Honestly, I might drop a video on that. It's been a while since I talked about romance animes, and I think I'm gonna have to get back into them. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I appreciate any of you who had made it this far. And if you want to sub, if you're new here, I will be making videos. It won't be on a consistent upload basis, as much as I hate to admit it, but it will be here. So, you know, please check out some of the other videos if you want, and I might see you in the next one.
Drop that.